Hey everybody, hi, it's Becky from PowerToolsWithThread.com. That's my blog. Well, I am getting ready to quilt up the quilt for my granddaughter for her birthday. She's going to be 9, and I have this wonderful Princess and the Pea panel by Hoffman Fabrics, and I added some borders to it to make it a little bigger. I have got the backing loaded on my Grace Continuum 2 frame, and I used a new method. I was at the Houston Quilt Festival this year in 2022 and ran into the Sew Tights girls. And Sew Tights are a magnet system you can use. They have varying strengths and varying different sizes, but they have introduced their magnums as a way to load quilts onto a long arm. Now, I'm loving this. Let me get one and show you. This is the Sew Tights Magnum, and it's 4 inches long, and I watched a video on YouTube, and what you do with this is in your leader, where I used to have a red, like a channel gripper system, I took the rods out that the grips held onto, and every 6 inches I sewed an enclosure on this, and each time I sewed one, then I slipped the bottom of the magnet into the pocket, and then 6 inches later, 6 inches later, I just did that all the way on my take-up rail, and the same thing on the belly bar. You guys, this was so easy to load. I couldn't believe it. I was done quicker than I ever thought, and I think the big reason I really like this is because I no longer have the bulk that was provided by the rod and the clamp over it, which really matters when I've got my ruler base on. If the rod is to the inside of the belly bar, it takes off that much room that I could be using. Also, the clamps, the clips, the quilt clips that you get with the Continuum 2 frame, it's very difficult to get these and clip them on when you've got that rod and grip system there. So with this, it just pops right over it, no problem. So you won't use it up here, of course. You'll use it down here. I'm just trying to show you that it will just pop right over. I've got that on the belly bar right now. I can feel where they are. They're actually on the inside, but this doesn't cause any problems at all. So very neat, very neat. This is the first quilt I have done using this new way to load the quilt, so we'll see how it goes. I'm just trying it out and bringing you along. What I'm doing right now is I need to create a basting line across the batting so that I can tack the batting to the backing and in the same time create a straight horizontal line to align the quilt top to. I've got a little mark right here, which is where I want the top of the quilt to be, because I've got that figured out because the backing is pieced and I've got it just right so that the big purple piece in the middle of the backing actually goes into the center of the quilt. So I measured all that out before I loaded this onto the frame. All right, so I am going to lock my channel lock. I'm going to put the head right up here, and I'm going to reach under and put down the channel lock so that the machine will only go horizontally and it won't move back and forth. I'm in the precise mode right now, and I'm not using the automation software at this time. Right now, all I'm doing is I'm using the machine itself and this wonderful little screen. I'm going to touch precise, and I'm going to go down here to the based mode. And I want to do my basting stitches on small. I think that's fine. And I've also got my bobbin brand new in there, so it's green, it's full, and I'm ready to go. I am just going to take a little stitch. I'm gonna go needle down, needle up, and a little bit back and forth, so that everything is locked in. I need to put my grips on. Okay, I'm just going to hit the start button and we're going to baste. So now that I've got that done, I'm going to put the quilt top on top of the batting and align it along with the basting line, and then I'm going to bring the machine back down and secure the top to the quilt. I'm going to take a square and make sure that I have my edges lined up square to the top. I need a 90-degree angle here. I've found that's the easiest way to make sure you start off right, is to just make sure that that is lined up. I know it's straight on the top because of the horizontal channel lock, and now I can see it is straight down the side as well. Very easy to do it like that. I'm going to check the other side. And this one looks good. Okay. I was just a little off over there by about 1/4 of an inch. So that way I know when I go to do my marking tool, this should be straight from here to here because I squared it up with that square ruler. I forgot to baste down that other side. I'm going to go do that right now. So that was really easy. That's how I based my quilt top. Make sure it's all nice and straight and get it ready for the long arming process. I want to show you how I download pantographs on the tablet that is attached to the QCT5 Elite. And I just got Chantilly from Urban Elements. I love getting my designs from Urban Elements. They always stitch out just beautifully. So I am going to hit this little download button right here for Chantilly. And it just went ahead and downloaded. But I want to show you what this looks like. I think it's going to be a perfect design. If I go to their homepage, this right here, this beautiful stitch is the Chantilly that they've got right on their home. It's just gorgeous. So pretty and feminine. I think it's going to be perfect on this quilt. So it downloaded into my downloads folder. I'm going to go to my yellow File Explorer folder down here at the bottom of my page. And here in my downloads, there is the Chantilly. Okay, I want to extract all. And where I'm in users and my name on here is Graham, and then downloads in Chantilly, I'm going to extract it. I'm going to go browse, and I'm in pantographs, and I'm going to put it right here, select folder and extract. When you are grabbing a design in the software, it's easiest to put it into your downloads folder. So I'm going to actually make a copy of it. I need the QLI file. There it is right there. I'm going to hold on to it and I'm going to copy. And now I want to go back to my downloads and I'm going to paste it in here. I'm just going to touch paste. There. Now that QLI file is in my downloads folder, which makes it really high at the top of the food chain when it comes to looking for things by the software. Okay, I'm going to close this, close it all. Close the internet, whole 9 yards. All right, now I want to go into airplane mode so that I don't get any interference from Norton or anything else that might be going on. So I'm going to touch my internet little things and I'm just going to touch airplane mode, and there, that kind of makes it quiet, which is nice. Okay, I'm going to open up Quilter's Creative Touch 5, double double tap, get that. It says make sure the sewing machine needle is up and the carriage to move the carriage to the center of the sewing area, and I have done that. And when it engages, the machine will move downwards and to the left just a little bit and then release the carriage. I want to do a pantograph, and to do that I'm just going to touch pantograph. It wants me to move the carriage and establish a safe zone. And I think of the safe zone like the outer edges of a sheet of notebook paper, and your quilt top are the margins of the notebook paper. And that's why we stay within the margins, but we've got to have edges for the margins to sit in. Okay, I need to do the top left. So my safe zone, I'm going to put it out here to the, not past the edge of the batting, but about an inch within the batting. And I'm just going to touch top left. And now it wants bottom right, and I'm going to do the same thing down here on the other side. I'm coming all the way up to the belly bar till I have about an inch away from the edge of the batting, and I'm going to move it back about an inch, and I'm going to touch bottom right. I'm going to move it back to center. I need to tell the software how big the quilt top is. So I am going to touch this ruler right up here at the top. Now I'm going to move the head all the way over till I am just one hopping foot width outside of the edge of the quilt top. So it's right there on the corner, so it's about 1/4 of an inch away, top and to the side, and I'm going to touch this top left button up here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to drag it all the way over here. You can drag it straight across. I'm just old-fashioned. I'm going to put it right here outside the edge of the fabric, and I'm going to touch the bottom left, and it looks nice and straight to me. And now what I'm going to do is touch the sewing machine right here, and it's going to travel to center between those two marks. The software has engaged. I'm going to take a friction marker and mark center. That just makes me feel good. So I know where that is. All right. So now I am going to tell it apply measurement. This quilt is 67 by 84. So we have total width at 68.1. I'm fine with that for total height. I'm just going to add 1 inch. I'm going to tell it 85. And tell it OK. And now I need to choose a pantograph. I'm in Power Panto mode, and I'm going to hit Select Pattern. And I need to get to that Chantilly design. To do that, up here at the top where it says Read Pattern, there's New Drive. Touch that. And I'm going to touch the C. And Users, that's where you go, and then Graham, that's my account that it went into, my user account, and there's my downloads folder right there. And I'm going to grab Chantilly. There it is. And open. Woo, that's small. I want to hit my magnifying glass up here, and I want to go to this mark. Look at that. Okay. So the pattern height is 5. I want it to be, I think 5 is probably fine. And I'm going to, everything looks like it's nested. It might be a little bit tight together. So I'm going to increase the vertical spacing just a tiny bit. Yeah, that looks better. So I don't have those little loops touching the lines. I think that looks really pretty. I love it. I think that will be beautiful. So now I'm going to tell it sew in zones, and it's figuring out how many zones, how many rows. Now that we've hit sew in zones, down here on this screen, we went from precise into quilt motion. It says, would I like to save this zone sewing session? I'm going to tell it yes. I'm going to call it Chantilly Dash Princess and the Pea. I'm going to press enter. I'm going to hit save. And now I'm going to touch the fit button. So there is zone 1. It looks good. I'm going to touch this big green button right here. You can see that it's only going to do half up here on the top, and that's good. I've got one green start point and one red end point, and everything else in it is one continuous line. It looks like it's going to be a thread hog, but that's okay. She's worth it. So I'm going to place the pattern by touching this green box with the center top yellow dot. It is placing the pattern, and we are good to go. So I want to pull my bobbin. So I'm going to press pull bobbin and let the machine, it's going to travel all the way over to the top right, top left corner. It's going to move away. And now I'm going to tell it sew. Okay, full disclosure, I had set the pattern height at 5 inches and it started to stitch, and y'all, it was just way too tight and small for my liking. So I picked all that out. It only did like an inch or so, but I picked all that out and then started again with the pattern at 8 inches. And I'll take the camera off and show you what that looks like, but I'm really liking it. I think this is looking just beautiful. It's nice and pretty. The other one was just way too tight. Some people like very tight quilting. I am not a fan of that. I like mine kind of in between, you know, not huge loopy, but just something like that. So I'm going to touch sew again on this, and you can see where it is on the screen right here. So I'm going to touch sew again, and it's going to start. I just stopped it so I could show you.